Welcome to another NEBA Spotlight. Today, I'm very happy to present to you Jeffrey. Jeffrey, tell us about you. Tell us about the business.
My name is Jeffrey. I'm consultant with Victory 4PL. We are a company that handles a fourth party logistics and supply chain. We help them create a healthier supply chain and focus on all the different ways that they're shipping. And when people see trucks going down the highway, they can realize that there's a lot of different ways to ship from by over the road. You have less than truckload, full truckload, but then you have a weird space in between that I'm going to talk about today, which is called volume or partial truckload and how they differ. So with less than truckload, that's basically six pallet spaces. I did a quick run here. This is four pallets and going from Morrisville, Pennsylvania to Greensboro, North Carolina. And just to do four pallets, it would take 2 days, but the cheapest price here, and the customer will buy it for about $216. This pricing is very repeatable because it's contracted rates. So that means that if you run this again next week, there might be a little bit of fluctuation because of cost of fuel, but it's going to be a very consistent number. But what happens, when you're having more than four pallets? Well, if you have a full truck, you're just buying a truck. You're paying a flat rate for that truck, and it's going simple. But what happens if you have, say, 12 pallets? Because less than truckload is essentially six pallet spaces of a standard pallet. That's 48 by a 40-inch pallet going up to 98 to 100 inches. But what happens if you go above that? Well, the first way to deal with that is called a volume move. Volume moves are, we'll say, from 7 to 15 standard pallets, and you're utilizing the LTL network of carriers. So these are the ones that you'll see driving down the highway for Estes Express, A. Dewey Pile, Old Dominion, those kind of names. And they're basically saying, okay, we have extra capacity in our network, so we're going to take these bigger shipments. So this is a 12 pallet shipment. If I run and get a quote, you'll see over on the first tab, it just says standard LTL or guarantee, which means I'll make sure it's there. This shipment would take 2 days or 1 day, and that just means it's going to get to the terminal in 2 days. Delivery could take an extra day. With a volume move, you'll see now it says volume, standard LTL, but now you'll see that for that 12 pallets, it's almost $1,000 to move that shipment for 12 pallets. Okay, well, that makes sense. It was 215 to move four. I'm tripling that is actually, well, it's more than just that should have been about $600 to $700, but because of the capacity constraints, we're going to charge a premium for that. And you'll see as you go down the list, you know, Roadrunner here would do that same run for over $3,000 because they have heavy constraint. They're pricing them out. These pricings, unlike the LTL, are not pretty much static. These are quoted prices. They're good for 48 to 72 hours, give or take, and that's it. After that, you have to requote. So it's a very short window. So it's basically, I know I'm doing it, I got to get it out. But hey, 12 pallets, what if I wanted to be faster? This is saying it's going to get to the next terminal down in North Carolina in a day, but what if I need to get it there same day? Well, you can do that in North Carolina because generally the rule of thumb is 600 miles a day for a dedicated truck. Well, this is only about 460 miles. How do I know this? Well, run another program called DAT, and trucking industries will work this, and we can put in here that hey, we're going from Morrisville, PA, to Greensboro, North Carolina, and we need a regular van. Now that just means it's a non-refrigerated truck. It's just a regular square box. You can do a flatbed. A reefer is a refrigerated car. So if you're selling produce or food that needs to be temperature controlled, you use that. But we're just using a standard van. Well, I know in the last 3 days, the average to do that is $1,168 for me to buy that truck for my customer. And I know it's 460 miles. So that tells me that if that truck got in for load at 8 in the morning, I could have it potentially delivering the same day later that afternoon if their dock hours go late enough. So I can cut down my time. So when I'm looking at this and I'm helping my customer, I can say, listen, you can get it there. It'll take 2, maybe 3 days if they're back up with delivery, and it will be a little over $1,000. But it's going to make multiple stops going down. because it might stop at two or three different terminals along the way, going from outside Philadelphia to Greensboro, as opposed to a dedicated truck where it's going to be loaded on and not touched at all. So there's less chance of damage or breaking. And the other thing I can take a look at when I'm using my dedicated truck is what other deliveries do I have around there? Say I have that 12 pallet delivery going to Greensboro, but I have another 6 pallets that have to go to Winston-Salem. Well, that's only a half hour away. Well, now I know it's $1,000 to send this, and if I'm sending down that another 6 pallets going over to Winston-Salem, that might be another $400 or $500. So I'm looking at, for those two shipments, $1,800. Well, what if I changed that and said, I'm going to get a dedicated truck. I'm going to take those two shipments and I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy that truck and I'm going to post out there and see what would it cost me. So I come out here to post that load and I put my information in here and I can see, hey, if I'm just doing a quick spot market, it's 11, it's 1,000, my average should be about $1,168 or $2.54 a mile for that run. And I can really take those numbers and break down for a client. Or if it's a contract rate, which means, hey, my client is running this shipment 3 times a week and it's dedicated, and I'm going to reach out and try and negotiate a rate with somebody. I'm going to be negotiating for about $1,000 to make sure and really be able to say I'm maximizing my pricing because I'm creating consistency that can be repeated. But hey, now I'm going to say I got that drop off that's a half hour away. Well, I'm going to book this truck. I'm going to buy it for, say that I'll buy it for 1,100. I might sell it to my client for 1350, 1,400, and say, by the way, I want to throw in those extra 6 pallets, and I'm going to charge you I'll pay the carrier an extra $100. So now for $1,500, I'm doing two shipments as opposed, and I'm getting them there the same, potentially the same day, or partially the same day and partially the next day, as opposed to paying maybe $1,800 to $2,000 to send it LTL and getting it faster. So by understanding the ways that these can work, we can really help take a look and focus down the cost of their freight and the time that it's going to take to deliver their freight. We also have analytics that can analyze where they're shipping to and can automatically group smaller shipments of maybe 3 or 4 pallets and say, hey, you can take these 3 or 4 shipments and consolidate them into one truckload with stops because they're either repeating going to the same customer or going very nearby. And that's a great way to create cost savings as well. So taking the time to understand how you're shipping, where you're shipping, and the best mode to ship is absolutely critical in a healthy supply chain. So if you know somebody who's shipping and they're shipping a lot, we'd love to talk to them to see how we can help them save time, effort, and money at no out-of-pocket expense to them. Thank you.
Jeffrey, what's the best way to reach out to you if someone wants to learn more?
You can always reach me by email at jeffrey.gribben@victory4pl.com, or you can give me a call at 484-763-2105.
Love it. Thank you, Jeffrey, for introducing your business. We look forward to supporting you, my friend.
Thank you.